Welcome back to Starting Point. I'm Brooke Baldwin.
And I'm John Berman. Our starting point this half hour, a small Texas town really gripped with fear this morning as an intense manhunt gets underway for the killer or possibly killers targeting criminal justice officials. District Attorney Mike McClellan and his wife, they were shot to death this weekend at their suburban Dallas home. Remember, only 2 months ago, Assistant District Attorney Mark Hassey was gunned down steps from the county courthouse.
We talked to an attorney and friend of one of the prosecutors killed about how this town is reacting. Here's what he told us this morning.
The law enforcement community here is very uncomfortable. I mean, we're talking about, we have a county just west of here, Dallas County, has got about, 2 million people in it. And we're standing in a county that's got about 100,000 people in the entire county. Everybody knew each other here. It was a great place to practice law. Everybody District Attorney's office. There just wasn't a lot of activity out here. So, the biggest shock out here this morning is why in Kauffman, Texas, are we having a assistant DA get killed and an elected DA? It's really sending some shockwaves to the community.
So far, police have no suspects and no motive for the murders. I want to bring in Congressman Ted Poe, a Republican from Texas, who also has served both as a prosecutor and a judge in that state. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning, Brooke.
Let me begin with Mike McClellan. You knew him. Can you tell us more about him?
He was a career law enforcement person in the sense that he served as a criminal defense lawyer. He worked in the criminal courthouse. Before that, he served 23 years in the military. So he was just a basically good person who believed in upholding the law. And now, as a district attorney, he was very well liked in Kauffman County and very well respected by both sides of the bar, the prosecution and the defense.
Congressman, you were a judge for years. You were a prosecutor for years. In both those jobs, you were threatened with violence. So the question this morning is are we doing enough to protect our law enforcement officials?
Well, we can always do more. Of course, judges, especially those who have worked in the criminal courthouse like I did for 22 years, when you hear criminal cases, the person that is tried, if convicted, goes to prison. But a lot of, the family members and the friends, associates of the individual, they don't go to prison. And so you always have that constant concern, and then people getting out. But in the big scheme of things, nationwide, there has really not been that many attacks on prosecutors. 13 have been killed over the last 30 years, so that's not very many. But more prosecutors are watching out for their own safety and the safety of their families, and judges because people sometimes have become more violent and don't like not only the case, but the case that the prosecutor is investigating. And in this case, it seems to me like this was a case where the DA's office was investigating certain criminal cartel, or excuse me, a criminal gang, and that's why these events may have occurred.
So here we have Congressman Poe. Over the course of the last 2 months, it was an assistant district attorney here in Kauffman County. Then you have the DA. We were talking to the mayor of Kauffman a little earlier this morning, and he brought up this point about who they could find to fill the role. Take a listen. This is Mayor Fortner.
I believe he was doing an excellent job as a district attorney. I wonder if the governor's going to find anyone brave enough to take the job of district attorney, because that's what I've been told. The governor will appoint a new district attorney before long.
Congressman, if I can just get you to react to what he said, and then just also, how do you fill a role where potentially he or she would have a target on his or her back?
Well, this is a small county, not very many people, really not very many attorneys. But there will be someone that the governor's office will appoint to fill the role of district attorney. My own opinion is that one of the purposes of these murders, not only of the district attorney but the assistant district attorney, was intimidation by someone or a group of individuals to intimidate the district attorney's office not to investigate their particular criminal activity. I do not believe that intimidation will work. There will be someone who will step forward to continue this investigation and find the culprits who are responsible for these 2 homicides, or really 3 homicides now.
You keep referring to a group of individuals who may be involved with these crimes. There's been a lot of talk this morning about the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas, that perhaps they were responsible for this. Do you think that's a possibility, or are you talking about another group in the organized crime community?
Well, I believe it is a group. It could be possibly the Aryan Brotherhood. The district attorney has said they operate in his portion of the state of Texas. Aryan Brotherhood is a prison criminal gang. When they get out, many of them continue criminal ways involved in drugs or prostitution, anything for money. And it seems that a scenario may be developing that the district attorney's office was investigating this gang or another gang, and they wanted to prevent that investigation, and therefore they result to violence. That is just one possible scenario, but I think more than one person was involved in these 3 homicides now.
Just final question, if you are waking up in Kaufman County, as you point out, this small town, I know we were talking to the judge, I mean, this is the kind of town where you're, neighbors know neighbors. How do you proceed? How do you not constantly look over your shoulder?
I'm sure that the people in Kaufman County, most of them who know each other and people that come into the county, they are very concerned about maybe their safety, but also the safety of law enforcement personnel. These murders, the 3 murders, seem to me to be specifically aimed at certain people in particular roles in law enforcement, not other people in the community. That's why now the Texas Rangers, FBI, and law enforcement are going to find these culprits and bring them to justice, but people are very concerned about their own safety.
Congressman Ted Poe, we appreciate your time with us this morning. Thank you.
The concern is certainly